You backstabbing, mob-flipping cockroach!
Hey! What do you say? One last trip around the neighborhood. Winner takes the tape.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're reminiscing about some of the PS2's best endings that have stuck with us for well over 2 decades.
When will we be in range?
Oh, I'm sure something will come along in, say, 5 or 10,000 years.
Ah! I don't believe this!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Okami. The longer you play Okami, the grander in scale the entire narrative becomes, spanning multiple worlds, reincarnations, and an eternal fight against the forces of evil. As the final battle grows even closer, the full scope of Orochi's evil is revealed, having nearly wiped out all the celestial gods before unleashing his demons on Earth. Joining forces with Wakka to battle the machine god Yami, Amaterasu is almost killed until Isun calls on all the people Amaterasu had helped in her journey to join, giving Amaterasu the chance to regain her strength and finally defeat Yami and save all of Nippon from the demon hordes. With the final battle over, Amaterasu and Wakka set out into the stars to rebuild the land of the gods, the Celestial Plains. A true mythological classic tale of good versus evil that is sure to stick with you long after the credits roll. Thank God we're finally getting a sequel. Kingdom Hearts.
Take a look at this tiny place. To the heart-seeking freedom, this island is a prison, surrounded by water.
After venturing to all manner of fantastical worlds, it only makes sense that Sora, Donald, and Goofy's final confrontation with Ansem takes place at the end of the world. Sora finds Ansem on the island where his adventure first began, and the group battle Ansem's increasingly powerful forms. Ansem finally opens the door to Kingdom Hearts, but is ultimately vanquished by the light from within the door. Seeing the endless groups of Heartless inside the door, Sora, Donald, and Goofy desperately try to reseal the door, only for Riku and King Mickey to appear and help them close it from both sides, locking the army of Heartless as well as Mickey and Riku inside. As the world crumbles around them, Sora promises Kairi he'll find her again, and after Kairi relives some of her favorite memories on the island with her friends, we find the trio pledging to find King Mickey and Riku.
Guys, let's go!
Bully.
People used to be scared of me, and now I'm a joke.
Because Gary, it must have been.
I know, I can't deal with the fact that that kid beat me.
Well, it ain't over yet.
Bully might not have been on the same scale as Rockstar's GTA series, but they still managed to craft a story that not only felt appropriate for the age group within the game, but also had enough stakes and compelling characters to keep players invested until the end. After convincing the Townies to join his fight against school bully Gary, Jimmy and the Townies take down the other school cliques and set off to rescue Principal Crabblesnitch and finally confront Gary once and for all. Their conflict ends with Crabblesnitch freed and Gary expelled for good, and the school staff getting some much-needed housekeeping. With the worst behind them, Jimmy and the rest of the school celebrate their victory with Jimmy and his crush Zoe sharing a long overdue kiss. It's the kind of feel-good ending every kid hopes for after a long school year.
But life is certainly going to get easier.
Mafia.
It looks like you underestimated your new partners. Maybe you ought to change sides.
It's still not over, Tom.
Mafia has one of the best stories on the PS2, perfectly recapturing the magic of Martin Scorsese crime epics like Goodfellas. Naturally, there is quite a lot of backstabbing and double-crossing as members of the family attempt to climb the ranks by any means necessary. The walls are closing in on our protagonist, Tommy Angelo, and for the safety of his family, Tommy agrees to flip on the Solari crime family in exchange for a reduced sentence and witness protection. However, your past is never far behind you, and family never forgets. Years after settling down in a quiet life, Solari is still out for revenge and sends a couple of hitmen to track Tommy down, gunning him down on his own front lawn. Every choice has a consequence, and unfortunately, Tommy's caught up with him in the end.
Mr. Angelo.
Yes?
Mr. Salieri sends his regards.
Ace Combat 5: The Unsung War. You wouldn't expect an Ace Combat game to have one of the best storylines on the PS2, but here we are. With nuclear war on the horizon, the player leads one final assault against the Grey Men, a paramilitary group determined to ignite a new world war, and destroy their weapons facility before they can put their nefarious plans in action. Flying through a series of narrow tunnels that would make Maverick sweat, with nothing but the encroaching walls on either side and the endless radio chatter urging you further underground, escaping the facility is only the beginning of the end. In one final push to cause as much destruction as possible, the Grey Men deorbit their satellite with plans to crash it, and it's only by pursuing the space junk and destroying it mid-air that the day is saved. With the threat finally neutralized for good, the pilots come home, and longtime ally Pops finally retires. Ratchet and Clank, up your arsenal.
How can I be of assistance?
Annihilate him!
Just kidding. You've reached my holographic voicemail. Leave your name and a brief message. Ta-ta!
Ah, fine. I'll do it myself.
Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal is the pinnacle of the Ratchet and Clank series, and we won't be convinced otherwise. Introducing gameplay mechanics that would shape the series going forward, including fan-favorite bumbling villain Dr. Nefarious, Up Your Arsenal features some of the series' most clever writing and trademark humor, while also allowing its characters to grow in meaningful ways. As the game approaches its epic conclusion, the dynamic duo must contend with multiple galaxy-ending threats in increasingly climactic battles that even give longtime fumbling would-be hero Captain Quark his much-deserved redemption arc, coming to the boys' aid in their greatest moments of need. With Nefarious defeated and exiled to parts unknown, the pair relax in their well-deserved accolades and much-needed rest before their next galaxy-hopping adventure.
Do not even think about it.
Twisted Metal Black.
As much as I had those old urges of mine, I kept them to myself for the moment. I figured I'd play along with his little game. After all, I could always kill him later.
Twisted Metal Black is one of the rare cases on our list where there are multiple endings because every character gets their own personal storyline and conclusion, and somehow, every one of them is fitting for their character. With a dozen possible playable characters, it would have been easy for more than a few of them to be subpar, but every character's wish at the end of the competition is filled with unforeseen consequences. While none of them are what could be considered happy endings, they are some of the darkest and most appropriate endings for such a group of twisted and demented characters in what is by far the series' most mature outing. The brilliant use of Rolling Stones' classic Paint It Black playing over the credits of every ending is just the peak of the developers crafting a vision and sticking with it through to the end.
It took me all of 10 seconds. Let's face it, boys and girls. A man has to have his priorities.
Second Sight.
John, you've got to understand, you're not really here. What do you mean? This is not the present. This is a possible future. But I've been here already. John, don't lose yourself. Stay focused.
Anytime a story has a protagonist with amnesia, it's all too easy to fall into the unreliable narrator territory with the narrative, especially in one with as much time-hopping flashbacks as Second Sight, but thankfully, even with its conspiracy-laden plot, it never becomes too complicated for its own good. The realization that the flashbacks were actually present day was a mind-blowing realization and reframed all the events of the game. Using his newfound ability, precognition, to foresee the future, John confronts the scientists responsible for all the inhumane experiments. John then unleashes the many children held captive, allowing them to enact their revenge for all the torment they'd endured. While most games would have allowed the player to have a big climactic battle against the final boss, this was infinitely more satisfying.
Don't touch me! Ah! You bit me, you little bastard!
Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1. Like any good World War II story, Big Red 1 features a final stand with your band of brothers against overwhelming odds closing in on all sides, and this is Call of Duty at its finest. The tension is palpable as enemy forces begin their assault from all sides, spawning endlessly as the prospects of survival continue to look bleaker with every passing minute. With ammo supplies running low and your squad continuing to fall one by one at your side, the end is near as more enemy munitions fall from the sky, decimating the battlefield. With their final push, the soldiers enact a 1-in-a-million plan and manage to stifle any reinforcements, narrowly surviving their final assault. It's a moment worthy of celebration and relief knowing you and your brothers live to fight another day. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Look, I know you down for this, but I gotta go in there alone.
What?
Smoke played me. Tenpenny played me.
They played us all.
Yeah, but you're right. I was a buster when my family needed me the most.
There's a reason GTA San Andreas is one of the most beloved GTA games of all time, and much of that love comes down to its story and brilliantly written characters. After escaping death multiple times and finally getting released from prison, CJ finds San Andreas burning in the wake of Tenpenny's arrest and subsequent release due to lack of evidence. Looking to make Big Smoke pay for his betrayal, CJ is cornered by Tenpenny after narrowly surviving his gunfight with Big Smoke. With nothing left to lose, CJ teams up with Sweet and the two pursue Tenpenny through the many warring neighborhoods, avoiding gunfire and explosions from all sides. Finally, Tenpenny loses control and crashes his escape vehicle, ending the chase and his life. With the corruption on its way out, both CJ and the player can breathe a sigh of relief as they celebrate with their family and friends at the end.
Carl, where are you off to now?
Finna hit the block. See what's happening.
The Thing.
Once I take the chopper, I will begin global infection. Game over?
It's not often that a classic film gets a worthy follow-up, and even less often that sequel comes in the form of a video game that manages to not only recapture what made the original such a classic, but expand on the lore and provide answers fans have desperately been wanting for decades. Set 3 months after the original film, the tension and paranoia are reproduced remarkably well as you struggle against not only the Thing, but your squad mates as well. With nefarious plans to distribute the Thing worldwide, the fate of the world is in your hands, and the climactic ending brings everything full circle as the final confrontation takes place atop the original crashed alien ship that brought the Thing to Earth in the first place. As the Thing is finally defeated, main character Blake finally escapes the frozen tundra with his helicopter pilot, a one R.J. McCready.
On my way back from an extended Arctic vacation. So what's your name, smartass? McCready. R.J. McCready. U.S. Outpost North 31.
Resident Evil 4.
Oh, Mr. Kennedy, you entertain me. To show my appreciation, I will help you awaken from your world of cliches.
In classic Resident Evil fashion, RE4 ends with a climactic battle against a mutated version of the game's Big Bad. But even by those standards, the final confrontation with Sadler is legendary. After their initial encounter, Ada offers some much-needed assistance in the form of a rocket launcher, and in true Leon fashion, he sends Sadler to the afterlife with a quippy one-liner. The game isn't done, however, and after being double-crossed by Ada once again, Leon and Ashley are forced to flee the island before it explodes, racing a jet ski through the tunnels before the final detonation. With their mission accomplished, Leon and Ashley drive off into the sunset, with Ashley inquiring about Leon putting in some overtime and Leon's classy dismissal of her advances. It's peak B-movie cheesiness, and we loved every minute of it.
So, after you take me back to my place, how about we do some, overtime?
Sorry.
Somehow I knew you'd say that, but it doesn't hurt to ask, you know?
Devil May Cry 3: Dante's Awakening.
Remember what we used to say? Jackpot.
Capcom narrowly managed to save the series from the brink by returning to its origins. As a prequel for the Devil May Cry franchise, Dante's Awakening has a lot of heavy lifting to do establishing the lore and relationships for future entries in the series, and to its credit, it more than exceeded expectations. Not only do we get a backstory for Dante's brother Virgil, but we get to see their climactic showdown as longtime rivals in true DMC over-the-top fashion. The inclusion of nefarious demon dealings and misdirection keeps you guessing until the end, in which Dante and Virgil team up against the main antagonist Arkham before settling their score with each other one last time. In true cinematic fashion, the two brothers unleash on one another, with Dante finally emerging victorious. The ending perfectly leads into the events of the first game and the establishing of Dante's demon hunting business, Devil May Cry.
I love this. This is what I live for! I'm absolutely crazy about it!
Tony Hawk's Underground.
You backstabbing, mob-flipping cockroach!
Hey! What do you say? One last trip around the neighborhood. Winner takes the tape.
You wouldn't expect such a compelling story to come out of a skateboarding franchise, let alone one of the most hated villains on the PS2, but Neversoft managed to do the impossible and create one of the greatest underdog stories ever told. After being backstabbed by your so-called friend, Eric Sparrow, for nearly the entire game, you finally get your chance for revenge and the accolades you so rightly deserve for your 1-in-a-million trick video in one last skate-off against the treasonous bastard. Despite all his cheap tricks, you manage to prevail, leaving Eric crying like a baby. This gets even more satisfying when you replay the game twice more and unlock the secret ending, in which instead of accepting the challenge of the skate-off, you simply knock Eric unconscious, which is infinitely more satisfying.
Winner takes the tape.
Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time.
Do not be afraid. This belongs to you.
When dealing with a narrative as timey-wimey as The Sands of Time, it can be all too easy to get lost in the paradox of time travel. But the rebooted Prince of Persia perfectly walks the line and delivers one of the best and most satisfying endings in the entire series. After losing Farah during his final battle with the evil vizier, the prince rewinds the sands of time to before the assault on Maharaja's palace, and all the events of the game was the prince recounting his adventure to Farah. He attempts to return the dagger to her, but once again, the vizier interferes and the prince is forced to kill him once again. With his memories of their time together still present, the prince attempts to kiss Farah only to be rejected and rewind the sands of time to undo his advances, instead leaving her with a special word she told him during their adventure. Pure cinema.
Wait. I don't even know your name.
Just call me Kakolukia.
God of War.
I am not the same man you found that day. The monster you've created has returned to kill you.
You have no idea what a true monster is, Kratos.
It all led to this. All the pain, suffering, death, and murder to finally stand before Ares and claim your revenge. Naturally, this was also the hardest encounter in the entire game, but also the most rewarding, as the moment when Kratos plunges that giant sword through Ares' skull was worth every challenge, battle, and unfair death up to this point. The realization that the gods lied and never intended to remove Kratos' nightmares not only set up further broken promises by the deities, but also gave Kratos a budding career as the new God of War. The moment when Kratos sits upon the throne is both satisfying and melancholic. A man who succeeded in his quest for revenge, but is still haunted by his actions. The ending gives Kratos' story closure as a standalone title, while also leaving the door open for further vengeance against the gods of Olympus.
The mortal who had become the new God of War.
Shadow of the Colossus. The age-old question, how far would you go for someone you love, is at the core of Shadow of the Colossus. With every beast you take down, it feels as though a piece of yourself is being sacrificed as well, but still, you press on until the very end with the hopes the deity Dorman will hold up his end of the bargain to save your beloved. After the final Colossus has fallen, Wander's corruption from his actions became more apparent, and he is possessed by Dorman to escape his imprisonment from the temple, only to be stopped once again by a clergy of protectors who manage to seal Dorman inside once again, dragging poor Wander along with him, a sacrifice for all his efforts. Thankfully, Dorman kept his word, and Mono was revived in the temple, just in time to see Wander's horse Agro also survived his fall. Heartbreaking, but infinitely memorable. Silent Hill 2.
It's time to end this nightmare.
No! I won't let you! You deserve to die too, James!
While Silent Hill 2 technically has 6 different endings, 3 of which could be considered canon, all of them are satisfying in their own way, so no matter what ending you got on your first playthrough, you wouldn't end up being disappointed. All endings come with the revelation that James ended his wife's suffering, and it's this guilt that has led to his seemingly endless torment within the town of Silent Hill. Depending on your choices throughout the game, James can either read Mary's letter and leave with Laura, or James chooses to end his life by driving his car into the lake with Mary's body in the car with him. Our personal favorite is the ending in which James kills a demonic Mary and leaves the town with Maria, who appears to show signs of the same illness as Mary, leading to an endless cycle of torment for James. That or the dog ending is an absolute classic. Final Fantasy X.
Everyone, this is the last time we fight together. Okay?
Throughout the entirety of Final Fantasy X's playthrough, you know things are likely going to end in heartbreak, but few could have predicted just how devastating it would truly be. After finally defeating Sin, Titus gets the resolution with his father Jet he so desperately needed, and the worst seems to be behind them. However, shortly after Sin's ultimate defeat, longtime companion Auron is revealed to be an unsent, a soul that hasn't passed on and is finally sent to the afterlife. As if that wasn't already bad enough, as Yuna continues her sending, Dream Xanarkin disappears, and along with it, Titus begins to pass on as well. As everyone looks on in despair and confusion, Yuna rushes to hold Titus one last time, but passes through him. As he vanishes, Titus holds Yuna one last time as the two confess their love for one another. Who's cutting onions?
I love you.
Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater.
Life's end. Isn't it beautiful? It's almost tragic.
Metal Gear Solid 3 might be Kojima's best work in the entire Metal Gear series, crafting a perfect spy thriller with just enough Kojima-ness sprinkled in, and likewise, he absolutely nailed the game's ending as well. For most of the game, Snake and the player are led to believe that their mentor, the boss, is a traitor, but it ends up that couldn't be further from the truth. After finally confronting the boss and ending her life in one of the most heartbreakingly cinematic moments ever, it is finally revealed that the boss never defected and was instead coerced into infiltrating Volgan's ranks as a double agent. However, despite her sacrifice and her undying loyalty to her mission, she was branded as a traitor by her country and her name tarnished to take the fall for the entire operation. Knowing this, it's little wonder Naked Snake became Big Boss over time.
And like a true soldier, she saw it through to the end. But I think she wanted you, of all people, to know the truth.
What was your favorite ever ending to a PS2 game? Share your picks in the comments. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.